Virunga, a documentary directed by Orlando von Einstel and currently screening at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York, highlights the precarious situation of the park, the critically endangered mountain gorillas who are its residents, and the discovery of oil in the first national park created in Africa. There are between 800 to 900 mountain gorillas left in the world, more than half of which are in Virunga. The film zeroes in on a British oil company, Soko International's interest in exploring for oil in the park, while conservation groups and park director Emmanuel Demarude says the park should be left alone for wildlife preservation. Demarude, a Belgian prince, was appointed director of the park in 2008 and lives at the park headquarters. He chose to remain there during fighting between the Congolese army rebels and the M23 forces that raged through the park for 20 months until November. Virunga captures the violence between the army and rebel forces during that time.
It just happened that while I was there, that happened several different times, and I probably, if I'd have had a choice, I probably would have rather, if I knew it was definitely coming, I would have tried to avoid it because it's incredibly scary. And I mean, you know, I'm lucky enough that as a foreign journalist, filmmaker, in there I can sort of nip away and leave, but local people have to put up with that, and they have done for over 20 years.
Melanie Gubi, a French journalist featured in the film, did undercover investigative work on Soko International and its possible connection to M23. She had lived in eastern Congo for 3 years before she left the country. The densely forested hinterlands around Goma are home to a number of rebel groups that compete for control of land and Congo's vast natural resource wealth.
There was an ultimatum by the M23, so the fighting wasn't supposed to restart before a few hours, but it did, certainly, and so we found ourselves called into the fighting. So we were obviously, not expecting it and very surprised and a bit panicked. So we started driving back to Goma, and on the way we, pulled people into the car to help them because people were fleeing and running everywhere and panicked, and so we, just so that we could help a few people on the way.
Park rangers are regularly killed in clashes with militias in the park.
The rangers, over 140 rangers have died protecting the park. Yes, a couple of months ago, a ranger died.
Demarude was attacked on a Tuesday by unidentified gunmen while driving through the country's volatile eastern borderlands. He was shot 4 times. The bullets missed vital organs and his life is not in danger. According to doctors at the Goma hospital where he was admitted, the motive behind the attack on Demarude was not immediately clear.
Emmanuel, I suppose what's happened to him, he's very well respected internationally. And what's happened to him has sort of put a real spotlight on what's happening in the region, and more and more people. I mean, this film is part of that process of sort of putting a spotlight on what's going on in the ground in eastern Congo, in the Virunga National Park, and if there's any remote silver lining of what happened to Emmanuel, it's that more people will be engaged in this story.
Nationally, the debate over Virunga has raised questions over how a country whose economy lies in ruins after decades of corruption and conflict can best profit from an area of outstanding natural beauty, but possibly also great mineral and oil wealth. Von Einstel said Soko International is currently ramping up its operations in oil exploration. Virunga National Park was established in 1925 and has been a UNESCO designated World Heritage Site since 1979.
Well, it is the true story.